Well, kia ora everybody. I am here with, to be honest, one of my favourite new
Oh my
friends.
God.
Are we friends?
Yeah, of course we're
I like to
friends.
think we're friends.
I think it's been exactly a year now since I started devising this show, which is pretty crazy.
Totally.
Like, I never would have thought a year ago
Yeah.
that I'd be here now with it.
Well, your residency here at Wellesley Studios was pretty key to developing the work here. Talk a little bit about that process and your dancers and kind of the themes that you've been exploring.
Okay, so I was in London this time last year when I was creating the concept, and there I met one of my dancers who's in the show, Chelsea, and we met at this residency at Rombear Dance Company. So, like, she was kind of just naturally with me at the time when I was just coming up with ideas, so I would bounce them back off her. So she was kind of always there from the beginning without even really thinking about it too much. And then I applied for the Wellesley residency, I think while I was still overseas, and then I'm pretty sure the day I came back was the day that I also found out I got it, which was quite a nice little welcome home.
Nice timing.
And then, yeah, I kind of just stayed home from October or November last year and was kind of just getting to work. I started mostly with the musical side of things because I also compose music. So that was sort of like the starting basis. And I'm pretty sure that was the first thing I finished before any of the movement was even created. Before the residency even started, I had the full sound score done.
Wow.
And that just informed a lot of the decisions I made with the movement and also just like the arc of the kind of, I don't want to say storyline, but the journey within the work. And then I had Ollie Carruthers and Madeline High, who's from Australia. Ollie's from Auckland. And they came in during the residency and they kind of shared the same role because I knew that Ollie was going to be joining Footnote. So like he would be able to be there at the start, but then not for tempo. And then Maddie really wanted to be involved. So it kind of just like had both of them in space, which was really cool because they're super different, but so they both brought something very different to their role, but
Cool.
it's very exciting having, and also for me, so like Maddie I met in China 2 years ago at Metamorphosis residency.
Oh, yes.
So it was really cool like bringing her and Chelsea together from like my international experiences, and then Ollie, who I actually went to intermediate school with when I was 11 and 12 and like didn't see him for about 6 years, and then we bumped into each other at some dance thing and we're both like, wait, you're a dancer now? You're a dancer now? And then I was always like, okay, I really want to do something with you because I feel like that would be super special.
Totally.
And then, yeah, it was just like really interesting for me. I was like, is this going to work? Bringing all these people who don't know each other from all these different parts of like my kind of creative journey so far. And it was super special in the studio. Like everyone got along so well and we all had such different ideas, but it all kind of worked at the same time.
Isn't that such an important part of making work is the
Yeah.
relationships and the vibe and the energy that you co-create in the space?
Definitely.
Because it's that energy that births the movement.
I definitely think it was like it was super collaborative, and like although I was like directing what a lot like would happen day to day, it definitely like evolved throughout the 3 weeks, even just like how we worked together as we learned like how each other best responds to things, what we all need as individuals, and then like what the work needed. So, and for me, like it was my first time kind of like guiding a space like that. So I was learning as we went. But it was just super special and everyone was so giving as well.
Yeah. It's a humbling experience. Yeah.
Because I did kind of put like a little bit of pressure on that I really wanted to, by the end of the 3 weeks, have the full thing or like a draft version created.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, for like the first full length work I've ever, or first work I've ever made in my life, to complete it in 3 weeks is like quite a big
It was insane.
mission.
So I went to the showing of this, the outcome, I guess, of this residency, and never before have I seen such a completed work come out of, you know, one workshopping experience. I mean, it was just the sheer amount of material that you guys were able to co-create was pretty incredible. And also the sense of you guys being really woven together as people. Like as an audience member, you could really sense that. So it was amazing to see the amount of material and the depth of relationships between the dancers to have been made in that very short time. So I thought it was something very special. So tell us what the work's about.
Okay, so it's very, with making this work, I had a few things that I really kept in mind as my sort of goal. So number one, I wanted to make it very, very physical. I'm super interested in exploring the different ways that you can push the body to its limits within a live performance, and how that can just take mentally and physically you to a whole nother place that you never thought possible. So it's extremely physical and exhausting. Like within the first 15 minutes, we are sweating piles of mess on the floor.
So good.
And it's pretty much just set in this futuristic context, examining the advancement of technology and what a potential future might be like for our society in terms of just how we interact with each other, with, you know, for example, our phones, and every other kind of element of technology, and how it's sort of supposed to be helping us and making us more productive, but there's actually a lot of side effects to it that are actually counteracting that advancement and inhibiting us in other ways. So it's really affecting, for example, like our interactions together is often a lot of the time, not in this kind of real life context, but maybe just over a text message or, you know, things like that. So we examined human relationships, and we also examined just how invasive it is these days, like how much personal information we are putting online, how much we share, how we're often exploring sides of our intimacy online and not in real life. Like there was quite a lot to actually explore in it, and even still now, after creating the work, I'm still having other ideas that I haven't even had a chance to put in there because it's just such a big concept. So it's also inspired by the TV series Black Mirror, which does a very similar thing, and they often have like each episode examines like a different aspect of technological advancement, whether it's like a new app or a new something or other. So there is a lot of content to explore within it. It might be quite confronting for some people, more so in the way that there is probably a lot in it that's very relatable, and there'll be moments where it's almost quite, so we played with like a bit of a dark humor in elements. So there are moments that 1 minute it's kind of funny because it's sort of relatable, and then the next second it takes an extremely dark turn as you realize the implications of what that potentially quite like nice thing actually really means.
Cool.
So it's quite hard hitting, and it definitely will mix your emotions. Like 1 minute you'll be laughing, next minute you'll be scared for your life.
Ooh. Like me a roller coaster.
Yeah, I really did want the audience to kind of experience this roller coaster of emotions that we as human beings often do experience in any given situation. Like, and I also really wanted everyone to question and just reflect on their own personal kind of involvement with technology, and maybe just finding something in it that kind of makes you question whether or not, you know, this is the best thing, how we can maybe adapt our relationship with it. So I definitely would love to engage with anyone who comes to see the show and to have conversations about your experience afterwards.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's definitely what I want. I want it to be a show that will definitely make you question a lot and want to talk about it, because there's a lot in there to draw from, and I hope that everyone will at least find something that they can really hold on to within it. It is really important to kind of make work that's obvious but also abstract at the same time, which is a challenge, but it makes it super rewarding because it just gives it all these layers of depth.
Totally.
And even just like, I try to add in like little Easter eggs as well that maybe no one will even get unless I sort of explain it, or maybe they will get a whole different Easter egg that I didn't even realize I put in. But that also is satisfying for me. And I always find that satisfying whenever I see other works, not even just dance works, like even films or books or any other kind of art form, when you do just like notice those extra little things that maybe the author or the director or the choreographer or the whatever put in there.
Easter
I
eggs.
find that super satisfying.
Treasure hunt.
It just makes it more of a journey and a bit more of like a kind of a mission to just try to delve more and just take more from the work. And
If you want to come and see Kit's Easter eggs,
it's Easter time, guys.
I recommend booking your tickets really quickly because he's only showing 2 shows and there's a lot of interest and buzz around Kit and his work. So why don't you tell them when your show is?
Okay, so October 4th and 5th in the Loft at Q Theatre, part of Tempo Dance Festival. So yeah, it's only 2 shows, so definitely buy your tickets if you want to secure a spot to see this super physical, super confronting, but hopefully super amazing performance.
Perfect.
Woohoo.
Amazing. Kit Reilly, everybody!
I also am going to struggle to get off this floor.